What's up, gang? How you guys doing? We're gonna get this podcast started as I set up everything here in my wine room. That's where I'm at today. And But it's too cold outside to continue to do my podcast outside, so I'm bringing it in the house, and hopefully the acoustics doesn't. You don't get too much echo down here because it is echoing. So. For you guys on Spotify, forgive me for the echoing in this area. On YouTube, hopefully this microphone does what it's supposed to do. We'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cue up the Spotify, and I'm going to get this started because I believe today's session is a good one, man. It's a good session. So let's rock and roll, man. What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. And I'm coming at you today, guys, from my wine room. It is my studio outside, my 3-season room. It has just gotten way too cold out there, so I brought the party inside, man. And we are chilling out and we are relaxing, and we're going to see where this goes, right? We're going to see where this goes. The acoustics down here is not the best, but we're going to make it work. How about that? We are going to make this work as best as possible as I try to get my microphones and my audio and everything right down here. So let's go, man. Listen, so in today's podcast, right? What I want to talk about is a mistake, right? Is a mistake that I have seen time and time again. I've seen this mistake far too often, and it almost hurts me when I see it coming, right? It's like, you didn't see that coming? Yes, it hurts me when I see that coming. And every time it happens to someone, the victim is not only surprised that it happened to him, right, but they are extremely upset that it happened to him, and they don't get it. Like, these people, they don't get the fact of this mistake. When you do it, you're putting yourself out there to be victimized, literally, in this mistake, right? You have no leverage when you're making this mistake. So if you have no leverage, what happens when you have no leverage? A lot of times things don't work out to your advantage. So the mistake that I'm talking about today is also today's question that I'm going to give you. And that question is this, guys. When asking people for help, are you appealing to their gratitude, or even worse, their mercy, right? When you're asking people for help, are you doing it because, are you asking them, based on just, hey, listen, just be good to me? Or are you begging them, for help? You got to understand, when you are operating this way, that you are subjecting yourself to someone else's mercy, right? You are subjecting yourself to someone else's gratitude, right? There is nothing in there for them when you're asking people for things in this manner. So I'm not saying that it's wrong to ask people for stuff. I'm saying when you ask people for things in this manner, what it causes you is a lot of grief, a lot of pain, and a lot of frustration. And I'm trying to help you guys not to go through such heartache when it comes to that, okay? Now, I know that you may have spent years, right? And I talk to people about this all the time, and they say the same thing. And so I'm saying it to you. I know that you have spent years building up what you think in that other person is goodwill, right? You've done so much for them, and you've done so many favors for them, and looked out for them in this situation, and looked out for them in that situation. And so you're thinking because you did all that these people will move in your favor when you ask the question. And that's probably the biggest mistake that you can make when it comes to asking people, can they do something for you, man? It is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and they make it a lot. So you may even have like several people working on things, right? You may have several people working on things for you, right? And that has allowed you to gain some type of success, some type of momentum in the things that you are doing to achieve a better life for yourself, right? So you got people working under you. And so with those people working under you, you may think that in this case, right, that you are more vulnerable than someone who has received help, right, or cooperation from other people, right? Well, put it this way: you are more vulnerable than people who have received no help and no cooperation. And the reason why is because when you feel like you have some type of momentum of people doing things for you, what you tend to forget is this one important thing, right? And that one important thing is the people that are working on or seem to be working on your behalf, right? What they're actually doing is they have an invested self-interest, right? For your success. That's just these people are basically, they're riding your coattails, right? They see maybe you have a great idea, something good that's going to work, something that could be to their benefit. And what they do is they jump on board. And so in jumping on board, they try to make it seem like they're doing all of this on your behalf. They're doing all of this just for you, just because they care, just because they're goodwill. But the truth is that they're doing all this because they have their own personal self-interest. So you need to pay close attention to that type of cooperation that you're getting from people. Now, despite how much you may believe that the people love you, right? You know, people are working for you, they love me so much, right? Despite the fact that you may believe that people love you and that they say they'll do anything for you. I've seen this the other day. You know, I had somebody come into my job, and one of the officers I was working with, he said, I'll do anything for this guy. I'll take a bullet for this guy. You know, and people say that for effect, right? They say that for effect, and they say that to the point that if you're in power, they're expecting later on down the line that you will do things in their favor just because they said that. So understand that people will say a lot of things in order to get you on their side later on down the line. You know, that's that little plug they put in. So, you know, you may believe that these people love you and they say they'll do anything for you. But what they will not do is work with the efficiency that you need them to do if you ask them to do something that doesn't have their self-interest, that's not going to be moving them ahead, right? If you had them doing something that totally and completely, okay, was all you and none of them, and you asked them to do it as a favor because they said they would love you and they said they would do anything for you, they may do it, but they won't do it with the efficiency that you need in order to succeed and get ahead, right? So the only way that this is going to happen is if you begin to learn how to appeal, right, to people's self-interest. You got to do it, man. You got to learn how to appeal to people's self-interest, because if you don't, right, what you're going to end up in is a lot of people saying they're going to do things and they're avoiding you. They're not doing the things that you need them to do, and they're not there when you ask them to be there for you, right? So what a lot of people do when asking an ally, somebody that they need for help, is that they have a tendency to try to remind them of the time when, remember when I did this for you, remember when I did that for you. And they have a tendency to try to invoke some type of emotion from that person by reminding them of all the things that they did for that person in the past, right? How they rendered them aid in the past, or helped them with an enemy in the past, or helped them with a problem in the past. And in my experience, right, and this is this goes deep. In my experience, when you tell somebody all the things that you have done for them in the past, and this has happened to me far too many times than I can name, right? All this does is give them the heads up to avoid you at all costs now. So yeah, that's right, I said it. They avoid you at all costs. And no matter how much help that you have given people, they will find a way to ignore you if the deeds you are asking them to do is one that takes a lot of effort and one that takes a lot of pain, man. So if it's a great effort, they're going to try to find a way to avoid you because it's going to take away a lot of what they're working on themselves. You know, listen, people are selfish. It is what it is. You have to begin to understand that if you want to begin to profit from it, if you want to begin to excel and get ahead and actually get people to do things for you. You need to understand the fact that people are very, very selfish when they're going through life, period. Everybody has their own personal struggle, so you have to appeal to a person's self-interest. Now, what I have found that works best for me, that has worked best for me, and it probably works almost every time that I tried it, is I find something within my request. If I'm requesting somebody to do something for me, I find something within my request that benefits my ally or the person that I want to ask, okay? And I make sure that I point out in detail all of the benefits that they're going to gain until they feel as if they're doing I'm doing them a favor, right? And not me doing them a favor. They feel like I'm doing them a favor. And that's how much I point out the benefits of all of the stuff that I'm going to do for them and all the things that I'm going to, that they're going to get by being part of this event, this project, this something that we're doing. So that is important. And the reason why it works so well is because, like I said, people are selfish. People want to do things that are to their advantage, and things that take away their advantages, they don't want to do them. They don't want to work on them. They don't want to be a part of them. Okay, so understand that, man. People have a tendency to do things that will help them to move forward, and a tendency to avoid things that will take away their energy and effort toward that moving forward. So understand that, right? A person's greatest motivation is showing them they have something to gain, right? Something to gain, and you're handing it to them, right? They don't just have something to gain. You're handing it to them in a nicely wrapped package, right? People love being handed things. People love getting ahead with no effort, with no energy. And so you have to begin to shape your deeds and requests in nicely wrapped packages that people think that they're getting something for nothing. That's it, man. And I know that sounds crazy, but it works so well, guys. It works so well. You know, it works so much better than requesting somebody to do something for you because they're a nice person, right? Because they love you, because they should show gratitude, or they should pay it forward, or all of these things that you believe that people should do things for. People don't do things for those things, right? People do things to feel superior. People do things to feel powerful, and people do things that move them up their success ladder, whatever success means to them. So understand that, right? Past deeds, right? Past debts. When you talk about people's past debts and for them to do good deeds, they often carry very little obligation to that person when you're seeking favor, especially if you're seeking favor or you're seeking forgiveness for something that you've done, right? So you've done something wrong and you're throwing it out there to the person that they should forgive you for what you have done because you did these three things in the past, or you were an excellent officer, or you were an incredible husband, or you were a great father. You know, when you go from a position of power to a position where you're not having power and you have to rely on people and you're asking them to do something for you because of something you did in the past, very rarely are they going to do it because of past obligation that you did, all right, or past good deeds that you've done for them. Very rarely are you going to get somebody to do something in your favor. Okay, so if you place yourself in this position, guys, if you place yourself in this position, you may end up very disappointed from your outcome. Very disappointed from your outcome. Now, in my 28 years of law enforcement, I have painfully learned that no man, okay, is obligated to be grateful, especially after their personal crisis has been averted, right? So you're helping somebody through a personal crisis right now, something that they're dealing with, something that they're totally and completely self-interested in, and you're helping that person through that crisis. Once that crisis is averted, right, a lot of time that person no longer feels obligated to do something for you because you did something for them, right? Especially if what you need them to do for you may result in a lot of pain, right, or a lot of effort. And when I say pain, I don't mean emotional pain. I mean the pain of hard work. I mean the pain of tons of energy or tons of time that they have to put toward what you need, right? Especially if they're not benefiting from it at this point in time. So understand that, right? No man is going to feel obligated to you, right, when their personal crisis is averted. Now, they also believe this, guys, and I need you guys to understand this so you operate in the right realm. When in power, right, the gratitude, them having gratitude for what you've done for them is not only for them a burden, right, so they try to push it back in their mind, they also see it as a weakness that can be used against them by you, right? And I know this is deep intellect right here when I talk about it, but when somebody's in power and they feel like they owe you something and they feel like they need to be grateful, they have a tendency to gladly discard their feelings on this matter, you know, so that it doesn't make them weak, so that it doesn't make them subject to being used or manipulated by you because you owe them something. They'll quickly push that back in the back of their head. So understand that when you're coming to somebody of power and you're asking them for things to do for you and questions, right? Now, if you plan for success, right, you're like, why am I asking somebody for something in power? Here's the deal, guys. Understand this. If you strive for success, if you're striving to have a greater power than you currently have, a better life than you currently have, more wealth, more health, whatever you're doing, right, you will find yourself asking for help from those, right, who are more powerful than you. It's just a fact of life. We cannot do this on our own. I spoke about this in my podcast in detail yesterday, right? Independence is death. Trying to be totally and completely independent, you have no power, all right? Doing well in life is all about relationships and it's all about dependence, right? We all need each other to rise to the top. Now, we don't need everybody, but we need the right people, okay, in the right places, in the right positions of power to help us when it's time that we need help. So understand that when it comes to asking for help. Now, when doing so, right, when asking for help, I found it very, very important to understand this one fact, guys, this one fact. And I almost get scared when people ignore this fact. But I tell people this: do not confuse your needs with theirs. Your needs are unimportant in this matter. So don't confuse your needs with theirs. Your needs are important only to you, right? And so if your needs are important only to you, then guess what? Don't be telling them to everybody else. Everybody else doesn't even need to know your needs, right? Don't even bring them up. Shove them in the back of your head and deal with them with meditation. I don't know, you figure it out. Either way, man. Okay, but most people get this wrong, right? Most people get this wrong, and they come at the people of power with what I like to call thirsty, right? They're thirsty. They're the starving man in the desert, right? Begging for water. When you're that starving man in the desert begging for water, okay, what does that get you, man? It gets you trapped in your own wants and desires. All you can think about is the water that you need because you are thirsty, guys. All right? So you have to understand that. You have to get up out of your own wants and desires if you're going to be asking somebody of power for a favor. If you're going to be asking somebody of power to help you in some shape, form, or fashion. It can't be, can you help me because I need this. It can't be because can you help me because you should be a person of gratitude. You should be paying it forward. You became so successful that why don't you help the little man? You can't be appealing to all of those senses and think that you're going to get something done in your favor, right? I see people, they talk to people of power as if their needs matter, right? And the truth is your needs don't matter to them anyway, right? Your needs don't matter to them anyway. And when most of them that you talk to about your needs, I'll tell you this, they may listen, but most of them could care less. They could care less about what you want and how you feel and your feelings and everything else. Their entire time that they're talking to you, either they're thinking that they're being polite and you're a waste of time, right? Or they're thinking, when is he going to get to the point of what he can do for me? Period. That's it. That is the thing that most people of power are thinking about the entire time, guys. They always have something to do. So don't be wasting the time with all your needs and all of the things that you want. Don't do it, right? Now, if that doesn't work, right, what I see a lot of people is they push the big Grandiosa thing, like I was saying before, right? Asking the person to be grateful or gratitude for someone less fortunate than them, right? Or to show love to the universe, right? Show love to the universe, and it'll all pay it forward if they give, whatever you requested. Okay, so understand that, guys. Those things do not work. They do not work. Very rarely have I seen them work, and as a matter of fact, a lot of times they backfire against you. So I tell you guys, don't try it, don't do it, don't get involved in it. It is a slippery slope. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they forget even the most important person, right? And this is one of the facts that I want to drive home with you guys is that a lot of us, and I was a victim of this as well, we forget that even the most important person in the world is still locked inside his own needs, right? Still has all of the problems that you and I have, right? and they may be not right financial problems. They might not be whatever, but everybody still has health problems. Everybody still has relationship problems. Okay, his financial problems may be of a much higher level than yours, but he still has financial problems, maybe how to avoid taxes, or how to save some of his money to generational wealth or whatever. So, but we all have the same problems, man. And that's what people fail to realize. Everybody is always locked into their own personal needs. And you have to appeal to people in power right where that position is. You have to meet them where they're at. If you don't meet them where they're at, man, you're not going to get much. You're not going to get a lot out of a person if all you're talking about is me, and can you help me, and I have all these wants and I have all these needs. You're not going to get anywhere, guys. You're not going to get far. So how can you do this? How can you do this, man? That is probably the question that most people have asked me when it comes to me talking about asking somebody of power, can they help you, right? Asking somebody of power to help you to move forward, to help you to gain something. Can they mentor you? Can they teach you? Whatever it is something that you need to move ahead in life, right? And out of all the information that I've given you, this is probably the number one question, right? And this is very, very important. What you need to do, you need to make your life's work understanding people. Now, when I say this, right? When I say this, I do mean your life's work. The only way you're going to get ahead in life is through, relationships. Relationships are the key, right? And in order to have good relationships, be a master of relationships, guess what you need to do? You need to treat each individual like an island, right? And you want to know why I say each individual like an island? Because in every single person that you deal with, you have to learn how to explore who they are. Who they are, what do they want, what triggers them, what moves them, what makes them feel good, what makes them feel bad, okay? What can help them to prosper, what can bring them down, okay? You need to understand all of these things, right? You got to understand whether they're vain, whether they are a social type person, right? Or deep into social media. Do they have any enemies, right, that you can take out for them? You know, you got to know all of these things, right? Or are they just totally consumed right now on money and power? You have to know these things. Treat each individual like an island and do a full exploration of who they are before you begin to ask them, what they need. Because you have to frame it all. You have to frame it all in a way that it meets their self-interest where it lies, right? Now, as I said, guys, either way, right, self-interest is the lever that moves people. If you want to move people in a direction that you want them to go, you have to meet them at their self-interest. And in order to do that, you have to talk to people. You have to discover people. You have to talk to people around those people. Okay, that is how you get what you want. Okay, and that is how you move your life forward at a much more rapid pace. You have to master relationships, guys. And another thing, last but not least, and I'm gonna wrap it up with this, guys. I want you guys to never, ever rely on another person's mercy or gratitude. Never do it, right? It is too easy a bond to break. They will break that bond like nothing. It is far better, guys. It is far better to have mutual self-interest with people, okay? And that is the type of bond that will last a lifetime, man. So understand that when it comes to creating the life that you want, man. Create a bond that lasts a lifetime. So listen, I'm going to wrap it up for today. You guys make sure you hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com and put in the comments how you feel about me doing my podcast down here in the wine room, and make sure you also pick up a copy of my top 25 mistakes en route to good life. I'm giving away free 10,000 copies. I'm giving away, guys. So check that out. My 10,000 copies that I'm giving away of my book, as well as man, I got tons of bonuses and giveaways and things that I'm doing on my website that I'm working on. So I want as many of you guys to go over there as possible. Click on and check it out. Take your time, buy slow, and tell me what I need to add to it, right? Things that will help you to move your life forward. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. Make sure you guys check me out on all the social media platforms at Lieutenant Sound Blue, and shoot me a DM and let me know what tomorrow's podcast should be in the wine room. Alright, so I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a fantastic evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow from the wine room. Deuces.